name is Professor Bonga Chiliza. I'm the head of Department of Psychiatry at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, which is based here in Durban, in South Africa. And our research and teaching and learning and clinical services are really rooted on the land that we live in. So our main purpose is to teach our registrars and the clinical psychologists that are here that they are treating people that are living on this land. And so a lot of the work that we do is for them to try and understand how to do psychological interventions properly, how to do medications properly, but also how to understand the society that they live in. So a lot of that obviously requires collaborations, and since I'm a psychiatrist, I'm biomedically trained, sometimes I don't understand those things, and so we often work with other people from other departments to try and help teach our registrars about the ways of the people of this land. So that's the teaching that we do, but we also have to provide services, clinical services, for people of KwaZulu-Natal. And so that is obviously done in collaboration with the Department of Health, and we try and do that as well as we can in spite or despite the limited resources. And that also requires for us to think a little bit outside the box and to think about how we can utilize whatever services, whatever resources we have available to us. And so a huge part of the teaching and learning also is about what is termed public mental health, kind of trying to help with the limited resources to try and reach as many people as we can. And then lastly, we also do research. And again, our research is really rooted in people that are living with serious mental illnesses, in particular, people that are living with what we call trauma, with serious mental illness like psychosis, and trying to understand the root cause of why they have this illness, and also trying to help them walk a journey towards recovery.
So my name is Rocky Stroud, and I'm from Harvard University and the Broad Institute in the United States. And I'm partnering with Bonga Chiliza and UKZN on a project looking at the genetics of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, focusing mostly trying to figure out how to look at different populations that have usually been left behind in most research, but also in genetic research. So over the last probably 20 or 30 years or so, when genetics really has taken off, we did the first whole genome in early 2000. The focus has been mostly on white European men or people of European ancestry. And that has a lot of downstream effects in terms of health disparities and actually making the reason why health can get better for different populations and not Africans. So we've been partnering with Bonga for the past 10 years on a project called NeuroGap, which is the neuropsychiatric genetics of African populations. And he used to be a scientific advisor, and now we've actually partnered with him to start a new collection study here with UKZN in this population. What we're hoping to do and the outcomes we're looking for is their African genetics are very different than European genetics. Mainly, the genetic diversity found in Africa is leaps and bounds bigger and different than anything we found in European ancestries. And because most modern drugs have been based off of white European men, it doesn't mean that they're going to be that effective or that useful or in these populations. So what we're hoping to find is that there are different genetic markers that we can then start targeting and creating better therapeutics, better interventions, and hoping to have better mental health outcomes for populations in this area.
Part of the understanding of the root causes is often linked to us going to the communities, trying to find their leaders and trying to ask the leaders, what is going on this land? Why are so many people from your land suffering with serious mental illnesses? And that requires for us to also engage in new practices that we're not used to, which are sort of called community engagement.
My name is Ukulani Chiliza, and I am a community research officer with UKZN Medical School. And my job actually entails going out to the community, linking the university and the community, because that makes our work and our research easier because number one, I am born and bred in Durban, and ngizazi zonke indlela zaseDurban, yabo. So it's easy for me to actually navigate my way around my community. It's where I grew up, right? And it's easy again for me to navigate the community because I know everyone in the space. So it makes it easier for the university to be linked with the community. And again, I think it's important ukuthi university have someone whom people can trust, because if I drive in the community, already people can relate to me, right? Especially because the subject matter, which is mental health, is very critical. That's one. Number two, it's hardly spoken about in the communities, right? And three, no one actually understands it, okay? So given the fact that I tick all the boxes, right? It makes it easy for our team, which is the research team, to actually get into communicating with abantu engiphila nabo, right? And again, in our society, especially in the townships nasemakhaya, you know, in issue ka mental health mfethu akukhulunywa kakhulu ngayo, uyabona. I-West ke mase sokhuluma about mental illnesses, you understand? So that becomes like a taboo ukuthi asikhuluma ngabantu abahlanyayo, you understand? So that's the idea. So my job is to, number one, link the institution with the community. Number two, makes it easy for the institution to start implementing its ideas in its project. So because abantu basuke sebenjani sebe free, sebe at ease ukuthi so khuluma nge-mental health ayikusharp nifuna ukuthini, yabona. So that's my job. Most importantly as well, the leadership within a community, right? Because if you do not have a relationship with the leadership in the community, you will have a problem, because you will come in and you say you want to work, but what do you want to do? Who knows about what you want to do, right? So linking the institution with the community leadership is critical as well, especially traditional leaderships, because they do not know much about what we are about to do and help them with, yeah.
Sometimes these things require us to have new skills in research, and so we are looking forward to engaging and learning about new skills, like using big data to try and do these overlays in our people's lives to try and understand why are people not getting better and why some people are getting better. Sometimes it's because they live too far from the clinic, sometimes it's because they don't have the right medication. But I think once we understand this by having this big data that is now available to us for us to use as big science kind of modalities, I think it's going to be a wonderful way to ultimately help improving the lives of people that are living on this land with severe mental illnesses.
My name is Raveresan Nigundeni, the Research Data Manager in the Psychiatry Department, School of Medicine. So my duties here include data creation, where I clean the data, and I also do data visualization, interpret the data so that people will understand the meaning of what we are trying to measure in terms of the objectives that we are trying to measure in the study. For instance, our first objective in the SciMap study, where we are trying to map psychosis in the province in KZN. So we are looking at the incidence for psychosis in the province and also the factors associated with psychosis. For instance, maybe your demographic, socioeconomic factors. So my duties here are just I am mainly in the coding, where I'm coding the data, cleaning, interpreting the data so that we can derive the analysis in terms of the factors that I just mentioned. And those, they inform the strategic decisions and policies, and also what can we do in terms of interventions, in terms of clinical practice.
So our vision as a department is really to utilize all the collaborations that we have globally. So we have what is called targeted international collaborations, just like our university, from people from Harvard, from Boston, from Makerere University in Uganda, from Nairobi, and all of those people come together with us in Durban often and help us improve the lives of people with severe mental illness here in KwaZulu-Natal.